welcome to the No Spin News, Monday, September 25th, 2023. Stand up for your country. Enormous corruption right now in the USA. I think pretty much everybody knows it. Some won't admit it, but almost every day we see corruption right in front of us. And it's a three-tiered situation. The Justice Department, politicians, not all, but enough, and the media. All three have real problems with corruption. And we're going to look at the media now, and that's the Talking Points memo this evening. So Americans can no longer get accurate information about their country or the world. Okay? It used to be, and I'm not going to give a history lesson here, but the founding fathers, many of whom despised the press, like Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, they knew there had to be vehicles to get information to the voters. And that's why the press has special privileges in the Constitution. Okay? But what happened was the big corporations, Disney, Comcast, Warner, Fox, took over the television media, and the newspapers were also dominated by corporate entities, almost all of whom are liberal. Fox is the exception. Now, last week, Rupert Murdoch, the chairman of Fox News, announced he was going to resign. All right, he's 92 years old. Almost immediately, CNN launched into its propaganda mode. Okay? It ran a primetime montage of sound from Fox News to prove FNC is racist. Roll the tape.
Maybe tomorrow he says he's going to transition to a woman. Better yet, maybe a black woman. Maybe even better, a half black, half Pacific Islander. Something like that.
Slaves that worked there were well fed and had decent lodgings provided by the government.
Slaves who worked there were well fed and had decent lodgings provided by the government. It sounds like I'm soft on slavery. Correct? Okay. So that soundbite, 2016, was based on a speech by Michelle Obama where she was explaining that slaves built the White House. Here's my soundbite in entirety. Go.
Finally tonight, factor tip of the day. As we mentioned, Talking Points memo, Michelle Obama referenced slaves building the White House and referring to the evolution of America in a positive way. It was a positive comment. The history behind her remark is fascinating. Slaves that worked there were well fed and had decent lodgings provided by the government, which stopped hiring slave labor in 1802. However, the feds did not forbid subcontractors from using slave labor. So Michelle Obama is essentially correct in citing slaves as builders of the White House, but there were others working as well.
That sound like I justified slavery to you? So CNN took 8 seconds out of a 40-second soundbite to try to convince its audience that I am a racist, that I justify slavery. Does it get any lower than that? Does it? So I contacted my attorneys, who were excellent. They wrote a letter to the CEO of CNN, David Zaslav, Z-A-S-L-A-V, and said, we need an apology and we need it quick. Okay? So CNN's top attorney got back a few hours ago and says, we will have a response. I await it. Okay. Now, if I were to sue CNN, I would win because they obviously defamed me. And they did it on purpose, with malice. They had the full sound cut, and they just ran a part that would indicate something false about me. But I'd have to show damages to get any money, and it would take 3 years and millions of dollars. I'd have to pay millions of dollars to my attorneys and court costs to get the thing in a position where I'd win, but I wouldn't win because the judge would go, or the jury, well, O'Reilly's successful. It didn't really damage him, but it did damage me. Okay? I mean, this is the kind of propaganda that CNN puts out every day. Every day. So I'm awaiting its response, and I will report it to you. And I'm not trying to make myself a martyr or a victim here. I'm a big boy. I can take care of myself. Okay? But these corporate news agencies do this all the time. Almost every day they do it. And most people can't afford to take them on. So they're smeared and slimed, particularly if you're a conservative or a traditional person. So this is corruption. CNN is worldwide, goes all over the world. And somebody who doesn't know me sees me walking down, oh, look at the racist. He's a racist. He justified slavery. And I did the exact opposite and put Michelle Obama's remarks into the proper historical context, which is what we do. I'm telling you, it's so disturbing for me to watch this because I've been in this business almost 50 years now, to see how drastically this whole thing has declined. And I'm speaking with Tucker Carlson tonight. We're taping the interview in Manhattan for Killing the Witches. I'll tell you a little bit more about it later. And I think that's going to come up. It has to come up. I mean, the media in general, what the deuce is going on here? And again, it comes into your home and your life because voters can't find out what the truth is any longer. You can't. And that's the memo. All right, Joe Biden's schedule. He had a couple of meetings today. That was nice. One with the Pacific Islander people, and he got a pose for family with them, family photo. Excellent. And then he met with a board of advisors on historically black colleges and universities. That's very nice. He didn't do anything about the border. He didn't do anything about inflation. Didn't do anything about the economy. Didn't do anything about violent crime. Didn't do anything about fentanyl pouring in. But he had meetings. He had a lot of meetings. Now, on Friday, the White House announced that there's a new committee or something headed by Vice President Harris, and it's to prevent gun violence. It's a whole brand new thing. I write about it in the message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com, okay, which I hope when you get up every morning, it's one of the things that you do. Check in. You don't have to be a member. You don't have to be anything like that, okay? And I'm going, hey, this is a new office. So here is President Biden announcing what's going on. Go.
After every mass shooting, we hear a simple message. The same message all over the country. And I've been to every mass shooting. Do something.
So, of course, President Biden hasn't been to every mass shooting. He's been to one this year. There have been 506 mass shootings so far in 2023. And President Biden visited the site of one. But he said he'd been to every one. So again, it comes back to what I was telling you. He's not lying. He doesn't know what he's saying. That he went off the teleprompter there. They don't write that for him. I've been to every one of them. No human being, particularly the president of any country, would make such an outlandish statement if he or she actually knew what the words were coming out of their mouths. He doesn't know. Now, I know some of you disagree, but it just logically, it's just Incredible. Anyway, the White House was asked about, and they have no comment. Hey, if you watch my program or have been paying attention at all since COVID, you are aware of the risks we all face to our supply chain, critical infrastructure, and the power grid. Cyber attacks, gunfire, pandemics, all on the table. What would your family do facing a months-long blackout? No electricity, no fridge, no phone, no respirator, and an empty grocery store. Well, 4 Patriots has a new solar-powered portable generator. It harnesses the power of the sun, can be moved around the house, and is used to power essentials in a time of crisis. So don't procrastinate on ensuring your family's well-being at a time they need it most. Please go to 4patriots.com today. Use my code NOSPIN for 10% off. That's the number 4, patriots.com. Again, use code NOSPIN for 10% off. Okay, let's go to the mail. We got Richard Middleman, Pasadena, California. Bill, isn't the invasion at the border caused by Biden's refusal to enforce immigration laws? Wouldn't that be enough to impeach him? Yes, the invasion is on Biden's policies. You could impeach him for not enforcing immigration law, but it would never lead to a conviction in the Senate. But you could do it. Glenda Brown, Junction City, Oregon. Can Congress refuse to fund the government until the border is shut down? Next time around. Budget's already been passed. Next time around. They could do it if Republicans gain control. But if there's a Republican president, he or she, Nikki Haley, I'm going to reverse that policy. I'm positive. Gary Holt, Anchorage, Alaska. I mostly agree with your column this week, Sunday column, except that the last time I checked, the punishment you propose for gun crimes is already on the books. No, it's not. Each state has its own gun laws. So Virginia is a lot different than New York. So I propose all gun crimes be federalized, like kidnapping, because the gun situation is a threat to public safety everywhere. Emil Domus, The Villages, Florida. I fully understand why Donald Trump does not attend the debates. However, I believe the majority of American voters want to see him at the debates. He's so far ahead, it would be foolish, in my opinion. I've gone over it, Emil. I mean, I think you're right. Debates would be livelier if Trump were there. John Schmuel, Warren, Michigan. Bill, what a pleasant surprise I had today. It's Saturday for John. I brought in my mail, and then there was your new book, Killing the Witches, 3 days before the official release date. I'm a premium member, and that's why you got it early. Premium and concierge members of BillO'Reilly.com get everything early. And if you become one, you get Killing the Witches free. All right? But, you know, membership has benefits here. Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Name and town. Still getting a lot of letters without name and town. And some good ones I want to use. You got to throw your name and town in there. Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. All right, Fall Madness underway. Killing the Legends, Killing the Killer. Any mug of your choice, $42.95. Stock up on this, and you got all your Christmas and holiday gift giving. You get it done for a fraction of the cost. And people want this stuff. And then we have, I'm on Twitter, and that brings me to Tucker Carlson. So I'm going to Manhattan right after the taping, and we're going to sit down. And Carlson's going to interview me, but you know what a big mouth I am. So I'll probably be interviewing him too. It'll be back and forth. And he's doing it for X Twitter. So tomorrow, I'll be able to tell you where you can see this. And I'll tell you how it goes. Because I don't know where it's going. I mean, it's about killing the witches. I've sent the book. You've got to ask me some questions about that. But it should be, I have no idea how this is going to come out. Looking forward to it, though. Word of the day, do not be a plonker. And I'm sure Tucker's not going to be a plonker. PL Plonker. Back with a final thought in a moment. Are you paying too much for your Medicare supplement? You might be, and especially if your plan is through the liberal AARP. But there is an alternative, and it is AMAC. AMAC is the gold standard of quality and service. With AMAC, you have access to dozens of Medicare insurers and will avoid any woke nonsense. And working with AMAC's experienced Medicare advisors is well worth your time. They will help you choose a Medicare plan that suits your health needs and your budget. But what really makes them stand apart is their values: faith, family, and freedom. The same values that are important to you. So please call them today. 888-355-5605. 888-355-5605. Your consultation with a knowledgeable AMAC advisor is free of any financial commitment. Once again, 888-355-5605. Or visit amac.us/trust. That's amac.us/trust. All right, here is the final thought of the day. So I go up to Boston. I told you I was going, and I didn't fly. Thank God. It was a tsunami here because of Ophelia down in North Carolina. It was just a nonstop rain and wind here. So I drove up, and I had stuff to do with Cambridge, Massachusetts, right across the Charles River from Boston. And then, I saw some friends and all that. And then on Saturday, I went down to Foxborough where the Patriots play to see the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks concert. All right. So I'm a big fan of both Joel and Stevie. And I've known Billy Joel since I'm 14 years old. We look a little bit different now than we did when we met when we were 14 in our Levittown neighborhood. And it was really good to see him. It really was. Now, he had a hip replacement and, but he's really looking good now. We had a few laughs backstage, and some of his band members went to the same high school I went to. We had a lot in common. But the most important thing I can tell you is that in their mid-70s, both Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks are fantastic performers. I mean, it's incredible how good they both are. And I have to give props to the New England crowd. They sat there in that stadium, and it was pouring. Now, it was a big covered stage, okay? And me, I'm in a suite, so I'm not getting rained on. I felt guilty. I'm sitting there, I'm dry, and these poor people, they paid all this money to see them, and it was worth the ticket price. I mean, as I said, to see these vintage performers, and Beach Boys are the same way. I mean, I think, what is Love? Close to 80 now? I mean, and they're still popping it out. But Joel himself, about an hour 45, he didn't miss a note. And, I've been in a lot of shows. I know when getting phoned in and when you're not. And both of them, and they did a duet of Tom Petty, Stop Dragging My Heart Around. It was really good. So anyway, it was and then I drove back to the island, Long Island, at 2 a.m. because I didn't want to face the traffic on Sunday in the rain that you would have to. So, but it was good. It was good. Everybody was nice, and it was good to see everybody in New England. And I'm surprised about how many Harvard students know me. I'm posing for pictures. I'm this. Aren't you guys studying? What are you doing watching me? Thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. Please consider witches, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.